Okay, family, I am back. Yes, and so for certain, this is going to be a much shorter live. Let's see. My name is Cassandra Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. And I'm back from a much longer live than I intended to do just a moment ago. So I'm going to make this very brief. So I told you that the reason I was coming back is I want to tell you about some developments, some things to look forward to, and to plan for, and a couple of astrological things to be looking out of significance for this week. Let's see. Right. Let's see. Yes. Okay. Let me grab that. That. Child, what you want? What do you want? Um, Also, I finally named the kitties, so I ain't just calling them little babies no more. This little black kitty, who is feisty as the day is long, her name is Tempest. Her name is Tempest. Yes. And then, come here, boy. Come here, cutie patootie. The squishy one. Hold on. Come here, boy. Come here, little baby. Come here, little baby. Who eating my feet? Come here, boy. Come here. Uh, him. this. This is Storm. So Tempest and Storm. That's who they are. Yes. Isn't he so squishy? Oh, don't let him fool you. He is mean to his sister. She feisty, but he's mean to her. And he like, sneaky mean to her. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, why she ain't gaining no weight? You know what I'm saying? I feed them the same amount of food. Why she ain't gaining no weight? I came in here one day and he literally had his paw on her forehead, like eating her food. He got his own bowl. He got his paw on her forehead, preventing her from getting to her food. I was like, ew, why you doing that? He is like me to his sister. And she is like feisty with me. So here they are. This is Tempest and Storm. Say hey. Say hey. Little snuggly babies. Ah, so that's them. That's the new additions to my home. Aren't they so cute? Yes, they're getting big fast. Enjoyed your shared knowledge about the Doors lead, CIA offspring, and cute kittens. Oh my goodness. Yes. Greetings, everybody in the house. Okay, so I might need to grab one more book, I think. Let's see. I did an actually pretty long last week. I did a pretty long live about the coming astrological occurrences of the month to prep for. I think it was last week. It may have been a little longer ago than last week, but I did a pretty long one. Y'all can go back to that because that's where all the details are. But this week, in preparation for this week is on the 14th. June 14th is what they call a Mercury Cazimi. Again, my disclaimer is I am not an astrologer. I pay attention to astrology for its historical context and the ability to see echoes and potentialities through those historical events. That's how I approach astrology. That's why I tell y'all about astrology, and that's how I prepare my own life, right? Because this is big work that we've signed up to do. This world changing work is a big project. And so that's the context with which I pay attention to astrology. So anyway, there's a Mercury Cazimi happening on June 14th, depending upon where you are in the world. Here in the Western Hemisphere, it is June 14th, right? So a Cazimi is a planet's closest approximation to becoming conjunct with the sun. So there was a Venus Cazimi I talked to y'all about. That was, what day was that? That was Was it on the 7th? I think it was on the 7th. Yeah, right before the new moon last week. And so this Kazemi is, thanks, Cosmic. So a Kazemi, like any other big movement, there are things that are important to know about the energy and the potential and how to plan for Kazemis, just like any other astrological occurrence. And then it also is based on whatever the planet is. So last week it was the Venus Kazemi. This week it is the Mercury Kazemi. And let's see. Oh, you know what? Let me share my screen. Those of you who are tuning in via IG, you won't obviously be able to see the shared screen, but those of you who are tuning in, share screen, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Kazemi. All right, here we go. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's see here. I'm going to, let's see. How do we do that? Okay. So we're going to go here and where is it? Kazemi. All right, so we'll just go to a basic one, and then y'all can go and research it more. All right, share this tab instead. Yes. Right. So we'll just go through and read what it says about, oh no, this is the Venus, dang. Shoot. The Venus Kazemi, the Mercury Kazemi. All right, let's see what it says. Mercury Kazemi could be a positive one collectively because it creates inspiration. Finding your muse comes easily if you are a content creator. Mercury could receive some positive news due to the sun's energy. Mercury Kazemi is an awakening. In the natal chart, this phenomenon shows someone highly confident, bursting with ideas, and let's see. Meaning, let's see. Oh, shoot, man. This weird ass search. Coming, da 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 da. All right, let's see what this one has to say. All right. A look into ecstasy and mysticism. When a planet makes an exact conjunction to the sun, this is known as a Kazemi, one of the key steps in a planet's cycle around our solar system. When a planet is Kazemi, it is purified by the heat of the sun and raised to a level of great power. Kazemi comes from the Arabic Kazmimi, meaning in the heart of the sun. This article, by the way, is from Astro Theory. heloastro.com. Okay. All right. So in this article, we will take a deep dive into the meaning of Kazemis, the revelations and ecstasy that it can bring, as well as the larger cultural meanings. So we won't go through that. Kazemi in the culmination of this cycle, after conjoining with the sun, a planet will start another cycle of combustion, being under the beams and then re-emerging from the rays of the sun. It is an important moment of rebirth and can bring about closure and fresh beginnings. Blah, 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 blah. Right, Kazemis are very liminal space. They last merely a couple of days to a couple of hours, fleeting yet essential moments as the planet is thoroughly transformed by it as it conjoins with the sun. Think of some key moments in your life: your first kiss, the first time you got a job or a promotion, your graduation, the moment you met your best friend or your first love. Those moments are so brief, mere seconds or minutes, yet they come to define the months and years that follow in such a key way. Let's see. And then the power or the intention of the Kissimmee is determined by, again, the planet that is going Kissimmee, which is Mercury, the great communicator, right? In Greek mythology, Mercury or Hermes is the communicator between humans and God, right? Were y'all able to see? Okay, yeah. Lost connection to your screen share audio. Your browser has lost connection. Can y'all hear me on YouTube? Can y'all hear me on YouTube? Try sharing your screen again. Restart your browser if this continues to be a problem. Somebody give me a hands up or shout out or something. Can you okay, good. All right, great. Okay, so cool. Because I got an alert that says y'all probably couldn't hear me. Okay, so let's stop screen share. Y'all can look into that a little bit deeper. I just want to talk to you a little bit about who Mercury is, what the potentialities for this week are. So some of the things that I have taken as notes about this week in terms of its significance. So again, the Kissimmee is on Friday, right? Is that right? Yeah, Friday. Okay. This Mercury is about communication, the ways we communicate, different methods of communication, creativity and artistic expression in communication. Let's see. Stop sharing. Let's do that. Okay. Communication as a form, creativity as a form of communication. And because the Kissimmee is always seen as positive, those things are really highlighted. Mercury's energy. Now, I'm going to tell you that I didn't hear this from any astrologers, but just thinking about this is why the archetypes are so important and understanding the different personifications of the archetype. So Mercury, right, is the planet that is Kissimmee this week. And Mercury as an archetype, again, is about communication. We are pretty generally aware of that. Whenever there's a Mercury retrograde, we know that there's a possibility of glitches and shit in our ability to communicate. Electronical glitches, things in, things that are impacted by Mercury retrograde. Shit be slowed down, you know what I'm saying, whatever. Mercury, the archetype of Mercury, is not only about communication. It is about like the transfer of information. We say communication because the story is Hermes, aka Mercury, who has these little wings on his feet so he can expeditiously facilitate this communication between humans and heaven, or between humans and the gods, right? But it's also about the transference of information. This archetype represents not only communication, but transferring of information between the humans and gods, one group and another, how we communicate to other, how we transfer information to others, right? And I feel like that is going to be something that is, absolutely impactful this week. I've been feeling it already in the reading that we did just before this live. To me, that's a representation of the transferring of information, or even more subtle methods of communication. I tell you, I haven't talked to the sister in 3 months who just moved to St. Lucia, and she calls me out of the blue, and we end up talking for a couple of hours on the phone. And the main thing that we're talking about, right, is having the confidence and the courage to imagine new culture and establish new traditions and think outside the box. And how does our life, how does our global human experience demand, what is the evidence that our collective human experience demands new ways of existing, new culture, new tradition? What old traditions do we need to break away from, do away with, permanently put away because they don't apply anymore, right? And then we turn around and read this book 2 hours later, and she's saying damn near word for word what I just spent 2 hours on the phone talking to my homegirl about. This is about subtle communication, spiritual communication, right? Like being not only to receive the information, but recognize in the instant how impactful it is. right? So that's one thing I feel that has been a consistent theme of the week, child. A consistent theme of the week, because I ain't even gave y'all the 411. I'm not going to do it on this video because I'm going to be diligent about keeping this video short. So much has been happening this week. And like, for example, yesterday, let me tell you what had happened yesterday. Yesterday, I still have a bad habit of getting up first thing and scrolling through my social media alerts and shit. You feel me? And one of the things that I do, I've told y'all, is when somebody like highlights or draws my attention to an older video that I have done, especially if they put like a timestamp on it or something, I'll go back to it. I'm sure there's something that I have said in the past that could be impactful on this day. So I go back and I listen to this video that the sister, like drew to my attention, was the video that I made 2 years ago of when I officially changed my name back to Cassandra. The whole video is about how I got to that point, what the meaning of my name was, whatever, right? Later on in the day, so this was somebody who had, posted on my YouTube channel, posted a comment on my YouTube channel and was like, yeah, I'm new to your channel, and this was the first video I watched. That was the first video she watched of all the videos on my YouTube channel, was a video that I did 2 years ago about me changing my name back to Cassandra, right? Oh, okay, cool. That happened. Okay, cool. I go to my Facebook page later in the day and I'm scrolling through my memories, my Facebook memories, which I always do. On the same day that this random woman said this is the first video she's watched on my page, on the same day, y'all, I go to my YouTube memories, and 2 years ago to the date was the day that I announced that I changed my name back. Now, did she go to my Facebook page and see in my memories? Because nobody can see your memories unless you repost them. Unless you repost your memories, nobody can just see your random memories on your Facebook page. So on the same day that this woman messages me and says, it's my first time, I'm new to your page, it's the first video I saw, and this little piece stood out, thank you so much. I go to my Facebook memories later on in the day, and this sister had made a comment. Her name was Renee with you something, right? She 2 years ago to the day commented on that same video, posted that video on her Facebook page and was like, yo, I really appreciate this live. The same one that the sister commented on in the morning. I was like, whoa, that's crazy, right? So there must be something that I really need from this video for it to come up in my consciousness twice today, right? So I watched the whole video. I was like, damn, that was really, really impactful. And it was about the meaning of the name. And, the first ceremony of human beings is the ceremonial dance that mother does with the spirit that's fighting to become, right? Blah, 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 blah. So then somebody else makes a comment about a reading that I did of the book Pure Lust. Somebody just made a comment about, I think it was reading 29 of Pure Lust. So I was like, well, I got to clean up my kitchen. I'll listen to this reading while I'm cleaning up my kitchen. This reading of part 29 reading of Pure Lust, which happened last year. You feel me? I finished reading that book in December. This happened last year. The reading that this woman commented on from Pure Lust happens to be the very chapter where she goes on a whole diatribe about the meaning of the word Faye, which is my middle name. That happened yesterday, y'all. Totally unrelated video. 2 times the same video came up in the same day. And then later on in the evening, when I'm listening to myself read, part 29 of the reading of Pure Lust is the chapter where she is talking about the meaning of the word Faye, my middle name. And that was deep because the meaning of my name is, has many meanings, but one of the meanings is prone to insanity or something like that, prone to be called insane or something like that, right? I was like, damn, that is really deep that happened all in the same day. That 2 years ago, yesterday, is when I announced officially my name change. This is the video that comes up in my memories from 2 years ago. And some random person who just becomes a member of my page, this is the first video that she, and now I know I've done 120 videos or so since that video, at least. And this is the video that she watches the first time she comes onto my page. I was like, yo, I had to take several minutes. I was like, that is not subtle communication by spirit. That is not subtle communication. That's deep, impactful communication, right? This sister here, Carla Summers, says, lovely name, Cassandra. Do you know, for whatever reason, I spent a whole hour before I did the first live revisiting the meaning of my name and the story of Cassandra, the Greek mythological story of Cassandra, right? And so when I'm talking about Mercury as an archetype that is defined by communication, not just by communication among humans, more specifically defined by communication with spirit, communication between humans and heaven, or humans in the spiritual realm. That's what Hermes. So we get caught up when we hear Mercury retrograde and we like, oh, my electronics is about to fuck up, or my internet is about to run slow. But the archetype, and I think it gets lost on people often, the archetype of Hermes, the archetype of Mercury, is about the communication between you and spirit. It is between you and spirit. And what the retrograde is trying to do in fucking with your electronics that distracts that communication. Your electronics disrupt and distract you from this communication between you and heaven, between you and spirit, between you and the extrasensory realm. You feel me? So when we get all mad, oh, it's a Mercury retrograde, oh my God, right? But retrogrades are not benevolent in their execution. They are purposeful and needed. When Mercury is disrupting your very visceral technological communication, it is attempting to demand the refocus of your communication with spirit. That's what a retrograde is about going deeper into the archetype that's presenting itself and stationing in its appearance retrograde. It is disrupting this distractive communication to attempt to get you back into a place where you can communicate more deeply and profoundly with spirit. You feel me? I think that gets lost in the mix a lot. And so when I talked about communication not only being, the communication between, but also transference of information to and from, right? The teaching, the learning that happens simultaneously. While you teaching, somebody is learning. While you learning, somebody is teaching, right? I think that with this Kissimmee and the general, understanding that I have of its relationship, this pivotal point before it restarts its cycle around the sun, is to again draw the more beneficial aspects of communication to your frontal attention, which is why it was talking about not just talking as communication, but creative communication being really important in, like, from today through the next 4 or 5 days, the period of time that this energy is heightened and lasts. The day of the 14th is the actual Kissimmee, but the 2 days before and the 2 days after are like the peak of its power, or the realm, or the totality of its power. So that's one thing. And then, of course, even as I'm talking about Mercury and the archetypes of Mercury and Hermes, it would be interesting, especially since it's Pride Month, for those of you who, get down that way, in terms of celebrating Pride Month and all of that. It will be interesting to see if there is any news, like on a grand scale, at least on a national scale, but on a grand scale, any news that is particularly impactful, if you will, on this Kazemi. And the reason why, and it's not often talked about, at least in astrological circles, but communication is not the only archetypal identifier of Mercury and Hermes, Mercury/Hermes. The term hermaphrodite comes from the story, the mythological story of Hermes. Hermes, as you know, was the consort of Aphrodite, the goddess of love, what we call Venus, right? And as his consort, they have this particular relationship. But the problem was that Aphrodite, in her temple, only women, only females were allowed to learn and worship in the temple. The secrets of the goddess were kept in this temple that only females had access to. And so her consort, her son, right, devises this plan to invade, because when males feel outcasted, right, when they in their mind are not afforded access, their default is to invade, right? And so what he did, at least as Hermes in the story, was he dressed as a female, so that, and his only purpose was to invade the sacred temple of Aphrodite, to learn the secrets of the goddess. And so he dressed as a female, hence the term hermaphrodite, dressed as a female so that he could gain access to Aphrodite's temple. Okay, so that's why I'm saying it would be interesting to keep your eyes over the next 4 days on like news headlines, that there might be some significant information that comes out about, in some way, the LGBTQIA community, and in particular trans politics. That's what I'm thinking, is there might be some announcement or something of that nature that is communicated in mass on this Kazemi, given the fact that, and plus also Pluto is still in Aquarius, and Aquarius has some similar kind of attributes, this kind of androgynous, attributes. So it'd be interesting to see if something over the next 4 days happens that is particular, I'd say generally across the LGBTQIA community, and in particular, and I say communication because I feel like this will be a big announcement, some event, some occurrence, some happening that is specific to that community, and even more specific around the issues of trans people or gender nonconforming people. So I'm not an astrologer, but I am a historian, and I am a spiritual person, and I am an oracle. So me understanding these archetypes and those aspects of the archetypes that are never discussed. You never hear anybody talking about the androgynous, and even in the book today, she was talking about it. Even in the book today, even in the reading that I did tonight, she was talking about that. Right. So it'll be interesting to see if that unfolds over the next 4 days. Some big announcement, some big communication about maybe some legislation, or maybe some event or some occurrence. Because the Kazemi is typically seen as benevolent, I wouldn't say it's a bad occurrence. Some occurrence, some event, something that is peculiar to that community. And it'll be interesting to see if that plays out at all. Okay. And then Mercury in Ifa tradition, Mercury in Ifa tradition is the god Alegba/Eshu. Alegba/Eshu. And the reason I say slash is because, the whole archetype of Alegba is as Alegba. He is the child, right? He is, the innocent. He is he likes everything that's fun, that's sensorily just fun, like a child. A child only understands how they feel in the moment, right? That's how they learn, is how they feel in the moment, in their body, in the moment. That's their whole learning process. Alegba really personifies that. And so as a practitioner, you're told that you have to appease Alegba. You have to appease Alegba the same way you would a child. You give child regular attention, you give them candy, you give them trinkets, you give them toys, you do things that make them feel good in the moment, right? And if you do not do that, then their kind of trickster personification comes out to begin punishment. That's Eshu as the punisher, right? When the baby is not cared for, the baby becomes rambunctious. It becomes the little sinister like dude, right? And so thinking about that archetype, and the archetype of Eshu gets really a lot deeper than that, way a lot deeper than that. But I would say, analyze your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I just feel like the whole Alegba Eshu archetype is really kind of standing out right now. So if you don't know anything about Alegba or Eshu, but it's like resonating with you or standing out to you, as a matter of fact, that's what Google is for. You know what I'm saying? Do a little Google search. Let's see. Do a little Google search. And see what you find. Also, I love these. I bought a bunch of these when I first entered into the tradition, when I was very, very young in the tradition, just beginning to learn about the Orisha. Some people don't like these. I find them helpful, but you can find these little booklets, excuse me, online. And they're like individual, like little tiny booklets. They're like $10 each, little booklets on each of the Orisha. So you can begin, if you're very, very, very young, you can begin to learn about the Orisha. So this is Oya. I think they're mostly, I think they're mostly within like the from the Santeria perspective, of the practice of the tradition, but it's still a good introduction on the stories, the apatakis, basic introductory rituals associated with each one of the Orisha. So I have one here on Babaluaye. For those that don't know, Babaluaye is the planet Saturn and in Ifa astrology. Babaluaye is the planet Saturn, and the sign Capricorn is represented by the sign Capricorn. So that's Babaluaye. And then here's one on Eshu / Alegba, right? So all you have to do is like, and I can tell you the name of the authors so you can like research these books if you want to get them. I still reference them sometimes because, like I said, they're good, nice introduction handbooks on the study of the Orisha. Because again, the Orisha are, some people call them the 7 African powers, but they are forces of nature. They are a representation of our relationship to our environment personified. Our relationship, even more in particular, as the 7 African powers to the 7 astral bodies that we can see with the naked eye. That's what they represent, right? This is a book of magical talismans. Another one on Oya, because of course that's who rules my head. A book called Introduction to Ancestral Veneration that was done by Chief Olayitan, who just recently passed away. A brief history on voodoo. So these are great little, just little bitty books, little bitty handbooks on your introduction into African spiritual systems. And then my position is whatever resonates with you, trust that. If it don't resonate with you, move on. No judgment attached to it. Whatever resonates with you, keep it. Play with it a little bit. Work it out. Test it in your life. Okay. So I'm done with that. So what I have planned for myself for the Mercury Kazemi on the 14th, which is Friday, given what I understand. Also, There was one more thing. Let's see. It was the Mercury Cazimi. The other thing that came up big was about speaking your truth. Speaking your truth, speaking up for yourself, even if it means correcting someone, right? Speaking the truth, speaking your truth, speaking up for yourself, even if it means correcting someone. And also, money was a big theme for everybody that I watched. Money was a big and consistent theme across everybody that was talking about the Cazimi. The kind of money, like taking risk with money, like the big thing that kept coming up was buy a lottery ticket, right? If you need to communicate something about money, do it on Friday. If you have been thinking about getting a new job or applying for this job you really want, Friday is the day to submit your resume or your application, right? That the energy of the Cazimi, apparently, even though the primary energy is only going to be a few days, the impact of the Cazimi is going to go on for several months. So even if no matter what you do, if you do it on Friday, you may see the impact right away, or you might see it in a month or two. But to go ahead and make whatever kind of boss move you want to make on Friday, right? Especially, so not only with money, but again, where communication is concerned. If there's something that you want to communicate where money is concerned, or creatively, Friday is a great way to do it. So what I have assigned for myself, and I'm putting it out there, so I have to be held accountable. You feel me? It's the best build person. Okay. Is I have told y'all last week, I have received about 11 recordings of cicada bugs. Thank you very much. I will shout all of y'all out. They came from a lot of places, but I have so far collected about 11 recordings of cicada bugs that I'm still going through. But on the Cazimi, I have determined that I am going to facilitate the first aspect of the project that I've been telling y'all about since I started making the call. Since I started making the call for y'all to send me cicada bug songs. So Friday is the day that I am executing. Give me a minute because my StreamYard is acting up. Okay, so Friday is going to be the first day that I am going to start the process of executing this thing, like in real time. So keep your ears to the ground. Hopefully I can do it in a day. I've already started working on it, so it's going to cut time the day of, but the actual execution is going to be on Friday. That's going to be my quote creative communication to take advantage of the Mercury Cazimi. Okay, so I have that marked on my calendars as huge. So you can take from that what you want. And then so also I'm going to do a personal ritual on that day. So I have a personal ritual planned that day in the morning. And then this project as my creative communication project to take advantage of the Cazimi. Saturday, and then I'm going to be done with this. Saturday, I'm going to do Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. I am going to do an organized temple service. I would like to do it in a location, like an outdoor location. That's what I've been looking at, thinking about. But regardless, 9 a.m. this Saturday, Pacific Standard Time, I will be doing a temple service. This will mark the beginning of the schedule that I was telling you guys about earlier. So let's see, first and third Saturday, we will be doing temple services. Every second and fourth Wednesday, we will resume doing the temple study. The temple study will be happening via Zoom, right? The temple study will be happening via Zoom. And the reason I do it via Zoom is because not everybody wants to, appear live, right? So, you know, people who don't want their faces seen, I tell them, you know, black out their screen, because I'm going to start making clips of some of the past temple studies that we've done. People who don't want to be seen, you know, I tell them to keep their camera off or whatever. We go into deep dives. I would prefer to do them live, but like I said, not everybody's comfortable being seen. So that's why we do those via Zoom. So we're going to resume the temple studies via Zoom the second and fourth Wednesday of every month. The temple services the first and third Saturday of every month. That's going to be, I'm going to put that tonight. I guess it's about time for me to get off here because my StreamYard is acting real ugly right now. So that's going to be posted on the Temple of Evolutionary Facebook group on my Facebook page. If you're not yet a member, just reach out. You can find it, Temple of Evolutionary Emergence on Facebook, and I'll approve your request to join. So that is happening. And also, let's see. Oh, Saturdays and Sundays. So I'm also creating a schedule for myself for readings and consultations. I'm trying to be a lot more like organized and strategic. So just taking random patients or taking random readings, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to have days that are specifically for certain things and not waver outside of that, because my time is so split in so many places. So starting this week, I will only be offering readings and virtual readings and consultations on Saturdays and Sundays. Okay, those will be my official work days for that. Saturdays and Sundays, the only days that I will be offering virtual readings and consultations. So if you want a complete wellness consultation, which is an hour-long consult, a full intake with a written up, you know, prescription based on whatever the results of your intake are, right? How to change your diet, how to eat, you know, what type of exercise will most benefit you. Is it high rigorous exercise? Is it slow methodic exercise? Everything. Chinese herbs and formulas, what you may or may not need, all of that. So you can get a whole health wellness consultation, or you can get a 30-minute or an hour-long reading, divination. That can only happen on Saturdays and Sundays, and I will make myself available. I think I have myself on Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. and on Sundays from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Those are going to be the hours that I do readings and consults on Saturdays and Sundays. That starts this week. This weekend, obviously, because that's the whole nature of this thing, would be an ideal time to get a reading because of the Kissimmee, and we'll still be in that energy through Monday. Okay, so from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturday, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Sunday. Those are the hours. So if you're interested in getting a reading or wellness consult, you can email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. You can also email me there, Interwoven Angelique. You can email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com for more information about the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. Okay. Let's see what else. Yes, the summer solstice is coming upon us very, very, very fast. The summer solstice this year is on June 20th. And then the next day is the full moon in Capricorn. So June 20th, Thursday, is the summer solstice. The next day is the full moon in Capricorn. So I'll probably say more about that next week in the live. But go back maybe 3 videos ago. I did a very long, maybe a 2.5 hour presentation on the month of June, why the whole month of June, kicking the month of June right on in. The whole month of June is huge, and how to prepare for. I've marked my whole calendar up on June. It's a big, big, big month energetically, and how to prepare for the cascade of powerful events astrologically that are unfolding in June, and how we can take advantage of that. So you can go back to that live, which was pretty long, and I just got kicked off my IG. So I guess it's time for me to wrap it up. Somebody don't want me talking no more. Anyway, so that's that. And let's see, today is Wednesday. I may still get back on the schedule of doing a daily read of the book. So for those who missed the earlier live, the new book that we're currently reading is Beyond God the Father Towards a Philosophy of Women's Liberation. Beyond God the Father and Toward a Philosophy of Women's Liberation by Mary Daly. So I think what I'm going to do are short reads, like maybe first thing in the morning, so we can go ahead and move through this book. And then I'll post the schedule for how I'm going to organize the other lives. So that's all I have for you. I wanted to keep this short so I can eat something and, watch TV. Anyway, thank you all for joining. My name is Cassandra Faye Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. Go to my YouTube channel, which is at Daughter of the Fates. That's FATES, at Daughter of the Fates, one word. Like, subscribe, share. Oh, Balance, how you doing? Right. Thank everybody, Mother Phoenix Vision, Ayan, Interwoven Angelique, everybody that tuned in at this late witching hour, Brahmana Bava, right? Everybody that commented, Carlotta, Daily Positive Affirmations, Monique, Yellow Rose. Yes. Carla Summers, everybody that tuned in, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I will see you again tomorrow. I'll let you guys know maybe tonight what time I'm going to do the read for tomorrow. All right. Have a great evening. Peace.